Now I'm at the point you wanna be with me. I'm vibing out at a higher frequency, cause everything that I want and I'm gonna be, it's when I wake up, that's when I start to dream. Someone you love is talking down, here is the plan. Let it fall through like a handful of sand. Nothing happens overnight, what you must understand. If you dwell on the bad, then you don't stand a chance. Something you want upset, saying why it ain't mine yet. That's because now you have yet to change your mindset. People don't put their mind to rest while they're so wired. A lot of people go to sleep and wake up tired. Power of positivity and persistence. Say that I can, we'll just sit back and witness. Make an impact when our time is done. Make money, help people, and have lots of fun. Whoa.
Welcome to Office Hours, hosted by legendary sports executive, entrepreneur, and investor David Meltzer, where the brightest entrepreneurial minds in business, sports, and entertainment get together to talk about success, failure, and everything in between.
At the end of the day, man, we've got to condition ourselves to make the right choices and give us the power over the external circumstances instead of the external circumstances having power over us.
And once you do that, you start to figure out, hey, I can do this, and maybe I can do this, and then your self-esteem grows.
The truth is, change can be hard, growth can be scary, but nothing is as hard and scary as being stuck somewhere you don't belong.
Take a deep dive into the mind of some of the world's most impactful guests.
Growth doesn't come by talking a lot. Growth comes by listening, by learning, by being curious.
You'll upgrade your knowledge, your skills, your habits, and you'll upgrade your beliefs so that you believe that you can do this.
You will succeed. You just have to believe in yourself and never stop trying.
To share their strategies and tools to dominate their respective fields.
The most important thing is really to work on yourself. It all starts and work on your mind.
And I said, if you can get 1% better every day, by the end of the month, you have 33%. Tell me a business you can earn 33% a month. So it's a great investment.
I'm not attached to my career, my notoriety, my financial success. I'm not attached to it. I have no self-worth tied up in Gary Vee or Gary Vaynerchuk, the entrepreneur. My self-worth is fully and utterly 100% attached to how I treat human beings.
Issue where you save time is that if you really know your why, right, then why are you doing it? Are you doing a career because your parents said that's what success is?
David Meltzer hosts Office Hours.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Friday Trading. We've been doing this for over 28 years as of October 12th, 28 years ago. So we are blessed to have a community of people here that want to help each other and know people that help each other. Today's training is the compounding power of showing up and utilizing what that means to show up and how you show up. And it's not what you say, it's what people hear when you show up. But as we are waiting to set the room in Clubhouse, I want to go through our schedule, which will be, we are going to be in Vegas, meetup, holding court, VIP dinner, season 10 of Office Hours. And then from there, we'll go to New York and New Jersey. We're going to run it back, the same car wash, all those great things, VIP dinner. Come and join us. Then we'll be back in Phoenix for the professional athlete community. Then we will be at Augusta, Georgia with Von Miller, John Daly, many more. Come and join us down there in Augusta for the mastermind. And of course, that car wash as well. Back to Phoenix for the Aspire Business Tour, and then to SoFi Stadium. That's how you get to 200 different cities a year. If you'd like to join us, we have a text community to inform and to invite. If you want to be informed, so many people tell me I didn't know about it or I wasn't invited. Well, go ahead, text us 949-298-2905. Thank you so much. Was that Glenn Lundy on there?
Yes, sir.
Hi, buddy.
Yes, sir, Mr. Meltzer, my voice twin. What's that? How's your new book doing?
Well, you know, the title is one in which I should have used a long time ago. It's probably why, compassionate capitalism didn't just fly off the shelves, but don't do business with dicks seems to attract many. So the title is doing very well. I don't know. We got many reviews, positive reviews, but we got more people buying the book than obviously we do reviews. So the title is absolutely on fire, and people are buying the title on audiobook and hardcover. So we're blessed to not do business with dicks. And I know you've had those lessons yourself, my brother, but as always, I miss you and I want to do more. You know, I will tell you, Glenn, just as a pre-invite, I have a suite at Raiders Stadium for the Chargers-Raiders game. So mark that when they schedule it in the calendar. They haven't scheduled the games yet, but when they do, we have a suite in Vegas. So hopefully you will come and grace us with your losing presence.
You are a freaking clown, and I love it. I am there, bro. Thank you for the invite. I'm absolutely all over that.
I know I used to get excited about the Raiders Chargers face-off that we had, but since the Raiders can't win, it's good. Although I am, we'll see Mendoza and how he does his freshman year. Anyways, I love you, Glenn. Please reach out to me this weekend, brother.
Sir, I absolutely will do.
All right, we're going to go ahead and move forward. I love Scott Simon, TM, and of course, Glenn Lundy, the OG of this room, invited me in at the very beginning, and we have stuck it out every Friday in part of our Friday trainings for over 28 years. If anybody would like to join us, I'm going to let Nick give you our schedule. No, you know what? Maybe I'll steal his thunder. Nick, are you here, by the way? I see you here, right?
Yeah, of course I'm here. Come on.
Nick was a mastermind with me till 10 last night. We had Tim Story and Fleischman and a few other extraordinary people porting into the live community there. But I'm glad to see this kid is on it. Anyway, let me run through our schedule. We're going to be in Vegas, season 10 of Office Hours. And we run something at all of our events, whether it's a mastermind, TV show, whether it's, one of our documentaries or even our movies or different events. We always combine a car wash. We do a meetup. We hold court. We do a VIP dinner. We do interviews. So if you want to be part of the car wash or the big event, I'm going to go through what the big event is, plus the car wash of a meetup, holding court, VIP dinner, and interviews combined. So if you want to be invited and informed of these places, it's just 949 is the area code. The next three numbers, 298, the last four numbers, 2905. And you can always email nick@dmeltzer.com or david@dmeltzer.com. Anyway, the schedule is this: Vegas, season 10 of Office Hours plus car wash. Then we go to New York and New Jersey for the Wealth Growth Summit plus car wash. Then we go to Phoenix, Arizona for the professional athlete community plus car wash. Then we go to the Masters Mastermind. Maybe Glenn Lundy will come and join us at the Masters Mastermind. Love to see him. We have John Daly, Von Miller, so many other people. Come and join us plus car wash. Then we come back to Phoenix for the Aspire Business Tour with me and Goggins and Kevin O'Leary, Damon John, Eddie Wilson, Andrew Cordell. All the greats will be on that business tour. Come and join us in Phoenix for the tour plus car wash. Then we'll finish up at SoFi here. And this is all in the next 2.5 weeks. So if you want to be a part of the 200 cities we're in, 949-298-2905. Email nick@dmeltzer.com or david@dmeltzer.com. Nick, why don't you go ahead and set the room and we will get started on the compounding power of showing up training.
Absolutely. And thank you, David, for making sure that we get our invitations, but not obligations in. And for everybody joining us here, welcome to another edition of David's Free Friday Training Series that he's been doing for over 28 years, as David had mentioned. The topic for today's training is the compounding power of showing up. So for everybody joining us, I know you are going to want the guide and exercise from today's training. So make sure you reach out to David directly to get that guide and exercise. David@dmeltzer.com. Once again, just David, first name, @D, first initial, Meltzer, last name.com. And of course, Glenn Lundy had the perfect tee up as my final remark before we get started, which is to make sure and remind everybody to get your copy of Do Business with Dicks. It absolutely has been flying off the shelves. You can get it everywhere you normally get your books, whether it's Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or you can visit dmeltzer.com/book to get your copy today. And once you've got your copy, please reach out to David and let him know, because he would love to send you the rest of his books completely for free. Sending you a copy, signing a copy, and even pay for shipping, ladies and gentlemen. All you got to do is let David know, David@dmeltzer.com. And as we get through the first half of today's training, which David is going to guide us through, we will then open it up for Q&A. For all of our friends that are online, please make sure to put your questions into the chat for the second half of today's training. And if you are here in the Breakfast with Champions, the best room and community on Clubhouse, if you're in the audience, use the hand icon to request to join the stage. And if you're already on stage when it comes time for Q&A, please put a quick note in the room chat, and I'll be happy to pass it over your way. Now, without further ado, Mr. Meltzer, turning it back over to you to empower us with the compounding power of showing up.
You are awesome, Nick. The Nick of WOM. Check out our fastest growing podcast, the WOM Well-Oiled Machine Podcast. It's also doing extremely well, and just love doing that with you, brother. All right, let's go. Showing up and the compound power of it. Showing up sounds simple, but just like gratitude, just like non-negotiable behavior, the simple things to do, like saying thank you, are simple not to do. And showing up is absolutely simple, but it's one of the most misunderstood and undervalued principles of success. We often believe success comes from big work, comes from discipline, comes from major breakthroughs, or somehow one defining moment, opportunity, or breakthrough. But in reality, success is built through consistent presence. Showing up when it's easy, showing up when it's inconvenient, showing up when we don't feel like it. Because what compounds is not talent. What compounds is attention and intention in a consistent manner when you show up. There's a power and energy that accelerates when you show up. It aggregates all the necessary resources from your source, and it compounds. The first lesson of the compounding power of showing up is showing up builds unity, and unity builds trust. Trust is the foundation of all relativity because it incorporates faith in everything, or in one person, group, organization, or association. Trust is the foundation of all of these relationships, and trust is built through showing up consistently over time. When we consistently show up for our clients, teammates, or our families, they begin to rely on us, not because of what we say, but because of what we repeatedly do when we show up, what we are paying attention and giving intention to, saying, doing, thinking, feeling, and believing when we show up. Trust is not built in that moment. It is built in many moments stacked together in a consistent, persistent, daily intention, whether it be on your sleep, the way you show up, whether it be with your family, how you show up, whether it be for your faith, how you show up, for your health, how you show up, for your business, how you show up. It is what we repeatedly say, do, think, and feel in a consistent, persistent pursuit of our divinity, of our divine direction. Trust cannot be and is not built in one moment. It is built in many moments stacked together. We need to identify the meaning or the relationship that we have where we can show up more consistently. We need to follow through on the promises of the non-negotiables that we make to ourselves each and every day. We need to assign time to those promises to make sure we're present and pay attention and give intention to the coinciding of what we do, say, think, feel, and believe, aligned with our divine direction of where we want to be or better, no matter how small. Whether it's our sleep, our health, our family, our faith, our finance, or even the study of time or the alignment of the meaning with the study of time, to make sure that we're not limiting our imagination, not limiting our self-image, knowing we will never overachieve our own self-image. Showing up will build trust, and that will allow us to have a strong foundation of relativity, of meaning, aligned with where we want to be or better, aligned with our non-negotiable behaviors, aligned with the circumstances and the circumstantial behavior as well. If you would like the trust exercise, just email me, david@dmeltzer.com. david@dmeltzer.com. Remember, David means beloved, Meltzer means servant. Just throw my initial in there as well, david@dmeltzer.com. Lesson number 2, showing up is how we create momentum. This is how things accelerate, aggregate, and compound. Momentum is what turns small actions into meaningful, intentional progress. So many times we may not see the results from one workout, one post, one meeting, one conversation. But over time, those actions begin to compound, accelerate, aggregate into real, discernible, identifiable, acknowledged outcomes that are exponential in their nature. And this just doesn't apply to money. This applies to your relationships with your kids. 2 minutes a day of showing up, doing, saying, thinking, feeling, and believing. 2 minutes of showing up and telling your kids you love them, you're proud of them, you have their back. 2 minutes of showing up with your kids every single day without missing, telling them, asking them, I should say, what did you do today? Did you do your best? What did you learn? And did you have fun? It is the way that we show up, and it's not what we say, but what we hear and what they see as observers to what we say, think, feel, and believe. And if we just spend a minimum amount of time every day, that these actions assigned to time, aligned with meaning, begin to compound into exponential outcomes. It is because consistency is that which creates momentum. Consistency, not just consistency in the realm of discipline, where I do and go through the motions every day. I roll the boulder to the top of the hill every single day, but just allow it to roll back down to the beginning every single morning. It is not discipline. I know so many people that are disciplined working. They work every single day. They're so busy working, they forget to make money. They're so busy working, they forget to take care of their families. They're so busy working, they forget to take care of themselves, their health. So in the creation of momentum, of attention and intention to equal the coincidences, we must be intentional with our consistency to create momentum so that we are devotional in our behavior. Not only are we consistent, but persistent in alignment with the divine direction and aligning the meaningful progress in that direction so that it creates the exponential results that we desire, so that we are disciplined and devotional in our work for the sake of making a lot of money, for the sake of being with our families more, for the sake of being more healthy. When we make the non-negotiable commitment each and every day and assign time to the behaviors that are aligned with our divine direction, we are able and capable of progress, but never perfection. We are capable through time of quantifying the consistency and quantifying the progress, not the perfection. We can quantify progress by how many more assets do we have? How much more time can we spend with our health, our family, and our finance? How much time are we spending interfering with where we want to be or better? And how much time are we spending aligned with the divine direction and in the meaning that we give this progress? Not limiting our imaginations, not limiting our self-image. Showing up creates momentum. And if you want the assigned time exercise, just email me, david@dmeltzer.com. Come and email me for the assigned time exercise, david@dmeltzer.com. Lesson number 3, showing up expands our options, opportunities, and touches of favor. Showing up actually expands our faith. There's so many options, opportunities, and touches of favor when you live in abundance, per its own definition of more than enough of everything for everyone. Your biggest difficulty when you show up appropriately in attention and intention is to prioritize all the options, opportunities, and touches of favor, to capture the options, opportunities, and touches of favor, to follow up on all opportunities, options, and touches of favor, to distribute all options, opportunities, and touches of favor. All of these options, opportunities, and touches of favor come from proximity and presence, not just planning. Proximity and presence come from planning, but it is the opportunities, options, and touches of favor that come from proximity and presence. When we attend an event, when we take a call or follow up or call back, or when we expand our connections, it will lead us to an unexpected amount of options, opportunities, and touches of favor that we never could have predicted. Yesterday, I was with a gentleman who just had a over $300 million exit. And I asked him to describe his overnight success. Obviously, satire. But he went through how he showed up. How he showed up when he initially wanted to be a pharmaceutical rep. And they told him, go get a job at Enterprise, go get a job at ADP, learn how to sell. And he did. And he showed up again and got the pharmaceutical job. And then he wanted to be a medical device rep. And they said no. And he showed up again and they said no. And they showed up again and said, no, you don't have the experience to do that. And he made a list and sent it to him and said, this is why I do have the capability to do this. And they said no. And he said, well, you have a decision to make. You can hire me or you can compete against me. He kept showing up. And then he showed up as the top medical device person, looking and developing his own medical device from his experience there, and showing up for all the cardiologists. And all it took was a call to fund the project. And he kept showing up for the private equity, for the acquirers, to result in an overnight success of over $300 million exit. Never, when he was graduating from junior college, playing baseball, disappointed that his career was over, could he expect that he would sell a medical device for over $300 million. But he showed up. He showed up and showed up and showed up. And it led to an unexpected opportunity in Touch's favor. We cannot receive these types of options, opportunities, and touches of favor that we are not present for, that we are not giving and being given and receiving and asking for. We need to say yes to opportunities like Enterprise Rent-A-Car, like ADP, and keep showing up as it evolves and develops into alignment with our divine direction, or better, creating opportunities, options, and touches of favor. We need to increase our exposure to different environments, different teams of people that can give us directions to where they are and allow us to feel closest to God by being able and capable of helping others to understand where the options, opportunities exist. Just like this entrepreneur that I coach and mentor, he continued to see new opportunities that he never would have seen before because he kept showing up, and showing up expands options, opportunities, and touches of favor. If you want the prioritization exercise of options, opportunities, and touches of favor, if you want to know how to prioritize what's important and urgent in your life, just email me, david@dmeltzer.com. That's david@dmeltzer.com. Lesson number 4. Showing up is what builds your identity aligned with your divine direction. Who we think, say, do, believe, and feel we are is shaped by how we show up, by paying attention and giving intention, by showing up consistently in what we do, say, think, feel, and believe. When we show up in this way every single day in a consistent, persistent pursuit of our divine direction, of where we want to be or better, when we show up daily to train, to mentor, to coach, to create, to collaborate, and serve, we will begin to see ourselves. We will be able to seek ourselves. We'll be able to look inside of us to find outside of us the identity of disciplined, devotional, reliable, and capable of getting to where we want to be or better, even when there's no evidence or the evidence is contrary to where we want to be or better. We don't just become confident before we show up. We become confident because we show up. I'm going to repeat that. We don't become confident before we show up. We become confident because we show up and how we show up. By what we do, say, think, feel, and believe in alignment with our divine direction and the alignment of the meaning of our progress by the meaning of our past, the setbacks, the failures, the defining moments, the historical relevances of our past. And when we can align that confidently with meaning, we become confident because we show up. We need to define the identity that we want to build. We need to define it as somebody who makes a lot of money, helps a lot of people, and has a lot of fun, in a mission to enable and empower people with those capabilities to be happy, to empower others to be happy, to empower others to be happy, knowing that if I can just empower 1,000 people to empower 1,000 people to empower 1,000 people, 1,000 times 1,000, 1,000,000 times 1,000's a billion. When we act in alignment with our identity that we have defined in the divine, when we align with that identity today and we show up in that way, even in the smallest way, we will be consistent and persistent in the progress of where we want to be or better. We will have exponential compounding results. Remember, showing up builds our identity. If you want the identity exercise to build your identity, to define your identity, just email me, david@dmeltzer.com, david@dmeltzer.com. Lesson number 5, showing up through resistance creates the expansion and the compounding of the outcomes. It creates growth. The moments when we feel least like showing up are often the moments that matter most. Just like a blade of grass, right when we get to the surface, it's growing. Right when it gets to the surface, the ground is the hardest. And that's when we're so close, but that's also when we feel like we're not going to show up. But it matters most to keep pushing. I use the Michael Jordan philosophy when I don't want to show up. Since I wake up so early at 4 a.m. and work out after a 20-minute meditation, a lot of times I don't want to work out. And then I ask myself, well, if Michael Jordan was waiting for me in my gym, would I go and show up this morning? And the answer is always yes, because I love Michael Jordan. Well, if I would show up because Michael Jordan's there, then I should show up for the sake of me being healthy so I can live longer and maybe someday work out with Michael Jordan, or just make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and have a lot of fun. So if you would do it because Michael Jordan was there, then you better show up when he's not. And it is often when we least feel like showing up that those moments matter most. So keep showing up, especially when you don't want to. When we show up on a day when we feel tired, discouraged, uncertain, when we have a need to be right, offended, separate, inferior, superior, anxious, frustrated, angry, guilty, or resentful, or worried, in that single decision, it will strengthen our discipline to a level of devotion in our faith, even though the evidence is contrary to where we want to be to show up. We need to show up in the moments that we least feel like showing up. The evidence is most contrary to where we want to be, because those are the moments that matter most. Look at the history of success. Look at the history of successful people. These are the moments that made those people. From 10,000 experiments of Edison to Leslie Buckley, the billionaire of Aircom, who is down to his last $80,000 of personal money to pay payroll. This is when we have to show up. We got to do, say, think, feel, and believe, align with our divine direction, and change the meaning of that struggle into options, opportunities, and touches of favor. Because growth, it happens when we show up, especially when it's hard. Because if it was easy, everybody would do it. If it was easy, everybody would do it. So growth will happen when we show up, especially when it's hard, when there's no evidence or the evidence is contrary to where we want to be, when you don't feel like it because you're tired, discouraged, or uncertain, worried, or angry, or whatever else is interfering with your potential. We need to recognize the resistance as a clue. We need to seek the pattern, and we have to make the right choice. That it's not a stop sign. It's a springboard. It's a promotion, a protection, a love and perfection of us. And so next time we get resistance, instead of trying to go over it, through it, around it, instead of trying to lie to it, cheat it, deny it, instead of trying to resist it, just stop, drop, breathe, and then roll. Promote, protect, love, and perfect yourself. Roll into the divine direction of where you want to be or better. Realign, reassign that meaning of the past to help you get to where you want to be. Recognize resistance as a clue, a pattern to make better choices, to roll in your divine direction. Remember, when your mind, body, and soul are on fire and you don't feel like showing up, show up by stopping, breathing, dropping, and rolling in their divine direction. Remember, when your mind, body, and soul are on fire, you got to stop, you got to drop, and you got to roll. Create these rules for yourself, whether it be the Michael Jordan rule or the stop, drop, and roll. We need to show up even when we don't feel like it. If you would like the stop, drop, and roll exercise to identify the resistance that stops you from the moments that you need to show up, just email me, david@dmeltzer.com, david@dmeltzer.com. Lesson number 6 of the compounding power of showing up. Showing up compounds over time. It is the small, assigned time to the consistent activities or actions, non-negotiable or negotiable, that create the exponentiality, the exponential results over that time. And it is showing up that compounds over time. Our daily efforts, our non-negotiable efforts, our negotiable efforts every single day, whether it be with our sleep, our health, our family, our finance, our faith, or even the study of time or relativity, or our relationships. In the moment, they may feel insignificant, but over months and years, it will produce outcomes that appear to be overnight. It will provide you the overnight success of hundreds of millions of dollars. It is the behaviors consistently aligned with your divine direction that will get you to where you want to be or better. I've done it twice. Never was it overnight. The first time, it started when I was 5 years old, to create behaviors to align with being rich, to buy my mom a house and a car. And as I lost and stopped taking stock in who I was and what I wanted to become, and lost everything almost 20 years ago, 18 years ago, I've accumulated, aggregated, and accelerated the appropriate behaviors and meaning of my past to align with the exponentiality of compounding results that are directly related to showing up and how I show up, which is why I've done Friday trainings for over 28 years. The power is not in any single day. It's not in any single action. It's not in any single result. It's in the accumulation of all, in the accumulation of many, in the accumulation of more than enough of everything for everyone. When we focus on the divine direction in a long-term, consistent, persistent pursuit of that direction or better, rather than the short-term evidence, the short-term results, the circumstantial evidence, the circumstantial results, when we focus our attention and intention in that divine direction and align the meaning of the past, it will coincide with the universe and the coincidences will occur. We can measure our results via assets and time. We can measure the progress via assets and time in months, in years, rarely in days. Showing up compounds over time. If you would like to understand the attention plus intention equals coincidence exercise, just email me, david@dmeltzer.com, david@dmeltzer.com. It is the compounding power of showing up, but it's how we show up, what we pay attention to, what we give intention to, that will equal these compounding coincidences, the coinciding of the acceleration, aggregation, and compounding of where we want to be or better. Success is not built in a single moment. It's how we show up, because showing up builds trust. Showing up creates momentum. Showing up expands our options, opportunities, and touches of favor. Showing up will build our identity and the meaning of our past to align with that identity, to expand our imagination and our self-image. Showing up through resistance will create the expansion, acceleration, and growth of that compounding success. And showing up compounds only over time, not days, but months and years. Success is not built in a single moment. It is built in the moments we choose to show up, even when we don't feel like it, when there's no evidence or the evidence is contrary to where we want to be, again and again. When we commit to showing up consistently, we build that trust, create momentum, expand options, opportunities, and touches of favor, and shape our identity so that over time, in a consistent, persistent pursuit of our potential, over time, all of these small behaviors assigned to time, these small actions compound into extraordinary results all at once, overnight. Because in the end, it's not about doing something extraordinary once. It's about doing the ordinary in a consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential that will allow it to become extraordinary. It's about doing the ordinary consistently until it becomes extraordinary. There is a compounding power to paying attention and giving intention to the coincidences you desire. There's a compounding power of showing up. If you would like the exercises and guides today or my book, just email me, david@dmeltzer.com. We would be happy to share that with you. david@dmeltzer.com. Nick of WOM, it's time for some Q&A, but why don't you go ahead, reset the room, and we will rock and roll for the rest of the hour.
Absolutely. And want to thank you, David, for an incredible start to what is today's training. And as a reminder for everybody, if you would like the guide and exercise from today's training, the compounding power of showing up, all you have to do is email David directly, david@dmeltzer.com. Once again, just david@D, first initial, Meltzer, last name, .com to get the guide and exercise from today's training. And now as we transition into the Q&A portion or component, for everybody that is joining us online, please make sure to put your questions into the chat. And of course, if you are live here in the Breakfast with Champions, the best room and community on Clubhouse, use the hand icon to request to join the stage and we will bring you up. And of course, if you're already on stage and have a question for David today, please go ahead and put a note in the room chat and I will be happy to pass the mic over your way. Now, without further ado, we have our first question of the day coming from our friend Hatul here live on Clubhouse. So Hatul, my friend, happy Friday. Always good to see you here. Why don't you unmute yourself and kick us off with the first question?
Thank you, Nick. Always an honor and a pleasure. Thank you so much. I trust everyone's had a better than blessed week. David, this really resonates with me, as often is the case. My question is, and particularly the showing up when we don't feel like it, and that's just massive. It's actually landed today. So forgive me if this repeats some of what you covered, but would you say that we need to look at both the consistency and the quality of our showing up? But then could you guide us on how to measure both, because it compounds. You repeatedly teach us that it compounds. So on the one hand, is it about consistency and quality, but then also what is it that we should be measuring and assessing in terms of showing up?
I love it. So what consistency is easy, right? So when we have non-negotiable behaviors, that determines the measurement of how consistent we are. So if I've assigned time, a minimum of time to my sleep, my health, my family, my faith, my finance, the study of time and study relativity, which in totality equals half of my day, the majority of it is sleep though. If I'm consistent in that and I don't double down on the L's, meaning I'm going to have exceptions to the non-negotiable behaviors, but I'm never going to do or miss or accept twice. And so I can measure that. How many times have I missed the minimum amount of time that I'm going to spend on my sleep, my health, my faith, my family, my finance, the study of time or study of relativity? So I would use my non-negotiable behaviors to quantify the measurement of consistency. Quality is also very important. It's how we show up. So if we're going through the motions like the myth of Sisyphus in Camus' The Stranger, and all we're doing is pushing a boulder to the top of the hill just to have it roll back down the next day, instead of plateauing and growing by doing our best at those activities, learning lessons from those activities, and having fun in those activities, actually enjoying what we don't like or love about what we love, actually enjoying what we don't like or love about what we don't love. And in that enjoyment of the consistent every day, which is measurable, persistent without quit, which is measurable, pursuit of our potential, by paying attention and giving intention to and aligning it with our divine direction of where we want to be or better, aligning the meaning of the past to know the quality of how we show up by analyzing what we do, say, think, feel, and believe. So in a quantitative measurement, it's easy to know our consistency, but we can actually qualify how we show up by looking at how much time are we spending interfering with our potential. So categorize your behaviors. Is this behavior, what I'm doing, saying, thinking, feeling, believing, aligned with my divine direction, or is it interfering with it? And what you want to do is improve upon the amount of time that you interfere with it. You interfere with it with a response to the reaction to fear. You interfere it by worrying, by being guilty, resentful, by grievances, by separation, inferiority, superiority, by being angry, frustrated, and guilty. All of these things interfere with it, and you can measure the amount of time that you're pissed off and know that I can improve about that time tomorrow. So I implore you, Hitul, and to empower other people, Hitul, to measure the consistency by the non-negotiable behaviors. And when you have to make an exception, never do it twice in a row. Never allow it to become a new start to a new habit. Always allow it to be an exception. And 2, measure the amount of time you interfere with your divine direction or better. This is how not only we measure consistency, but quality. Does that sound fair?
That is more than fair. Thank you so much.
I love you, man. Have a great weekend, okay?
I just pray that everyone's taken what I've taken out of it or more.
I appreciate that. And everybody can email me if they want that exercise. David@dmeltzer.com. Nick of Wam, we're running into the fourth quarter already. Loving life, loving Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're going to be in Vegas, then New York next week. Let's rock and roll as we have so many beautiful friends in our community.
Absolutely. And our next beautiful friend is none other than Marco Antonio for the next question of the day. So Marco, my friend, happy Friday. Always good to see you. What do you got for us?
Happy Friday. Good morning, Nick. Good morning, David. Good morning,
Hello, team.
What's happening, team? Hey, David, you mentioned earlier about the power of showing up and also about car washes that people could show up to. Can you explain what you mean by car washes and why do you call them that?
Yeah, so it's taken from ESPN. So when ESPN was promoting something with one of our athletes or even celebrities, they'd put you through a car wash. So you may not have noticed it in the old days, but when they had, Troy Aikman, Steve Young, Warren Moon, Evander Holyfield, Bruce Smith, or one of our guys on ESPN, they would be on the morning show. Then they'd be on ESPN2. Then they'd be on the midday show. Then they'd be on an afternoon show. Then they would be on the late show. And so they put them through the car wash all day. And so I picked up that term and applied it to what we do to maximize our productivity, accessibility, and gratitude of the activities of our community. So if I'm doing a movie, a TV show, if I have a mastermind, an event that I'm keynoting, or a big interview, I will add a meetup where I invite my entire community to meet up with me and to ask questions. I'll do holding court, where I'll tell all of my partners and associates and friends to come meet up with me and to meet each other. I will do interviews. I will do speeches. All of these different things that I will do are a car wash that existed every day. So, in a car wash, you get, the rinse, and then you get the wax, and then you get the soap, and that's what we do all day long. It's a car wash, and we can add it to a documentary, a TV show, a growth summit, season 10 of Office Hours, the masters, even and the masterminds. We just add a car wash, including a VIP dinner, where we bring in the biggest thought leaders to network with each other, a room qualified. You know, I know there's a lot of people that ask me why I charge for certain things and I don't charge for others. Right? We've been doing free Wednesday training with Napoleon Hill. I do free lives, free meetups, free holding court, all types of free stuff. But why would I charge for a VIP dinner? Well, it's quite simple. Number one is for charity. So the more money that we receive, the less that goes towards paying for the Capital Grills of the world, or the Maggianos, or, you know, what other, the Ruth Chris and the Mortons, where we have these things. But it also qualifies the room because we guarantee it. We guarantee everything that we do. So number one, if you can't afford to be in a room, then you're not ready to be in that room. Come to the free trainings, come to what we do. The same thing holds true about our private networking and coaching groups. Come. But if you can't afford to be in it, you're not ready for it. But most people can afford it. What the bigger problem is they know they're not going to show up. They know they're not going to show up, Marco Antonio, so they don't want to waste their money. Because knowing that it's guaranteed, what would they have to lose if they could afford it? One, or two, they were going to show up because it's guaranteed to be a profit center. And so, you know, as my books say, I don't want to do business with dicks. Oh, I don't pay for that. Well, then don't show up, bro. You're so big time. Don't show up, because I make investments all the time to profit, and I will do it every day when someone guarantees that I'm going to profit from there if I'm going to show up. I totally understand people don't have the cojones to tell me, hey man, I'm just not going to show up, right? It's not a priority for me. I got family, I got friends, I got basketball games. That's super cool, man. Everybody has their own priorities, but don't bullshit yourself. If you can't afford it, you're not ready for the room. But if you're not going to show up, that's terrific. Be honest with yourself and just say, I'm not going to show up. And Marco Antonio, I want to tell you that there's been a difference. We've known each other for so long. I know when you're showing up and when you're not. And I see the results every time you show up. And I see dissipation and disappearance of results and exponentiality and empowerment and that unbelievable progress when you don't show up. And I'm not just saying show up to our shit. I'm saying when you show up in general. Does that sound fair?
Absolutely, brother. Practicing every day, getting better at that.
I love you, man. Thank you so much for showing up.
Of course, even when I don't feel like it.
Yeah, especially. No, especially when you don't feel like it.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you always.
God bless you. All right, Wammer. You always show up, and the way you show up is fantastic, especially as a 25-year-old.
That was some strong shit right there, Mr. Meltzer.
What's up, G? I look at you showing up today. Look at you showing up today. I love when you show up in my life.
Mr. Lundy, you got a question today for Dave?
I mean, I always have questions for Dave, right? Dave, you have shown me over the years a really expansive level of efficiency. You continue to add and add and add and add and add. But from the outside, it doesn't ever seem like that scale dissipates or causes congestion. Like, it seems like you have infinite bandwidth, I guess would be the way to explain it. It's a very strange thing. And so I'm curious how you continue to be able to expand, add more in without it bogging down the all system.
Yeah, that's a great question. And, you know, when people tell me that they don't have time, I said, no, we all have time. We all have 24 hours that God guarantees us. And when we are consistent, what happens is not only become more productive, we become more accessible. And accessibility is not only to others that can help us. And when we allow others to help us, we're giving them the gift to be closer to God, to experience them higher selves. Because when I ask for Glenn Lundy's help and he's able and capable of helping me, that's the closest to God that he'll become. He'll feel his higher self when he's able and capable of helping others. And I've given him that gift, and I've created an infinite loop of giving because I also will receive. And I also gain confidence and trust and faith that I can ask for more and that God has more than enough of everything for everyone. And so the productivity, the accessibility, and the gratitude expands. The time stays the same. I got 24 hours a day. I've had it every day that I've been alive. It's guaranteed to me every single day, except for the last day of my life. But what happens within the context of being and paying attention and giving intention to the coincidences I want is through the productivity, accessibility, and gratitude, I gain efficiencies, I gain effectiveness, and I gain statistical success. And therefore, I can do more because I'm more productive, accessible, and gracious. I'm also accessing, not only am I accessing help, but I'm also accessing information. I'm elevating my frequency and awareness so I don't have to take so much time to vet and qualify and trust people. And so where I get amazed in this thing where, most common question people ask me is, man, how do you have the time to do all that? It seems like you keep doing more and more and more. How do you have time to do that? And it seems as if you're spending more time with your family, more time on your health, more time on your sleep than you ever have. How can you do all this? And I say a simple name because I'm still trying to figure out how this gentleman does what he does. Elon Musk. Say what you want about that cat and how crazy he is, or call him Alien Musk because of the way he can utilize time. But, I laugh when people that I mentor, coach, and teach tell me, well, I really only have time to focus in on, this $100,000 a year business. Are you kidding me? Like, how does that dude handle like 3 of the biggest businesses in the world? How does he handle 3 of the biggest businesses in the world and still had time to like travel around with Trump and do all this shit? How does he do it? I'll tell you how he does it. Because he's very intentional. He's very efficient, effective, and statistically successful. He utilizes help of experts, and he doesn't waste time in his elevated awareness of vetting and trusting people in order to hand it off or to give them the gift of being able and capable of helping him. And so through the enjoyment of the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential, through the lenses of productivity, accessibility, and gratitude, understanding the efficiencies, effectiveness, and statistical success that comes from that, including the compounding of your behaviors, if aligned with your divine direction or better, it is incredible how much capability that we have to get shit done. So I want you to think about, what is it that I want in the circumstances of the day, according to my non-negotiable and negotiable behaviors, aligned with my divine direction or better, aligned with my meaning of the past? Who can help me and who can I help? How best can I get it done with those lenses of productivity, accessibility, and gratitude, and prioritize accordingly? What's important, using urgency as a subset, distributing those things that you can execute on internally and externally in your network, giving favor to the people that have overlap agreements with you, and then utilizing your time to identify what you're doing to interfere with that pursuit and stopping, dropping, and rolling when you're interfering with it, spending less time interfering with the infinite. Everybody has the same amount of everything. It's just how much are you interfering with your sleep, your money, your health, your faith, your finance, your time? How much are you interfering with it? So utilize the 5 daily practices and you can be more productive, accessible, and gracious. You can be more efficient, effective, and statistically successful. How's that sound, G?
Sounds powerful as usual. As usual, Mr. Meltzer. Thank you so much. I'll be giving you a call this week.
I hope so, man. I love Glenn Lundy, and I hope everybody, when you follow him, you give him his appreciation, because he's a catalyst. He has planted seeds under trees that he may never sit under, and his impact, including building this community, has been incredible. God bless you, Glenn Lundy, and I really hope you give me a call.
Absolutely, man. That's happening.
All right, Raiders versus Chargers, season 60. Let's go.
I love it. I love it,
gentlemen, and thank you, G. Lundy, as always, not just for this power of community with the Breakfast with Champions, but for the way that you show up, my friend. And with that said, as we're looking at the last 4 minutes of today's training, it's looking like it's probably going to be our final question of the day, and that's going to come from the Meltzer double, just kindred spirits, no family affiliation. That is Eric Meltzer, of course. Eric, my friend, happy Friday. Always good to see you here. What do you got for the closing question of the day?
Cool. Thanks so much, Nick and Dave. My question is that I don't always show up for myself, and there's a lot that I've put on the back burner, and sometimes it can be overwhelming. So what's the first step I can take to prove to myself that I can show up as a starting point? Thank you.
That's a really common question and a really good one, Eric, and appreciate you for bringing this up. You know, I have a philosophy called lower the bar. You know, and I utilized it when I started to get back into the workout routine that I wanted, beyond the Michael Jordan rule of, hey, if Michael Jordan was at the gym, would I show up? Before I thought of that one, I lowered the bar really low to something I knew I can do to get started, right? 0 to 1 is always harder than 1 to 100. And that's why AI is so beautiful, because it gets us from 0 to 1 so quickly on a lot of things. But with working out, I told myself, tomorrow, I'm going to put on my gym clothes. That was it. That was my minimum. I laid out my gym clothes and I said, tomorrow, I'm going to start working out and I'm going to put on my gym clothes. That was it. I lowered the bar. I showed up. And then once I put on the gym clothes, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to turn around and come back. I'm not going to do anything else. And then when I got to the gym, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do 10 minutes on the elliptical trainer just to get started in my workout. And I ended up doing 20 minutes and then going home. The next day I said, I'm going to put on my gym clothes and drive to the gym and turn around. And once again, I went to the gym, ended up with 30 minutes, but I kept utilizing lowering the bar so that I knew no matter what, it became a non-negotiable that I was going to spend a minimum amount of 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And now I spend a minimum of an hour, 7 days a week on my health. A minimum of 7. Sometimes it's 4 hours, but it's never less than an hour. I spend a minimum of time on my sleep, a minimum of time on my family, a minimum of time on my finance, a minimum of time on my faith, a minimum of time studying time so I can be efficient, effective, and statistically successful, as G. Lundy pointed out. And I spend a minimum amount of time studying the meaning of time so I can align with my divine direction, my potential. Lower the bar, everybody. Make it so silly that there's no way you don't get from 0 to 1, because 0 to 1 is harder than 1 to 100. I promise you. Lower the bar and you will show up. God bless all of you. This has been the compounding power of showing up. Thank you for showing up. If you'd like the exercises, the guides, my book, just email me, david@dmeltzer.com. If you'd like to join us, text us. 949-298-2905, or email the Nick Awam, NIC@dmeltzer.com, NIC@dmeltzer.com, or David@dmeltzer.com. God bless all of you. Nick Awam, why don't you close out Clubhouse for me? Thank you, everyone. God bless all of you. Thank you for joining us. Remember, we go live every day for free. We have Wednesdays, Napoleon Hill Institute training. Friday, for over 28 years, we've been doing this since October 11th. I said October 12th earlier. I wonder why, but it was October 11th, 28 years ago. Go ahead, join our text community. Just to review, we'll be in Vegas for season 10 of Office Hours plus Car Wash. New York, New Jersey, Speaking Wealth Growth Conference plus Car Wash. Phoenix, Arizona, Professional Athlete Community plus Car Wash. Augusta, Mastermind at the Masters with Von Miller, John Daly plus Car Wash. Phoenix for the Aspire Tour with all the Sharks, with David Goggins, with Mark Leon, like everybody's there, plus Car Wash. And then it's SoFi Stadium Mastermind plus Car Wash. Car Wash means meetup, holding court, interviews, speeches, and VIP dinner. Come and join us, Vegas, New York, New Jersey, Phoenix, and the Masters, back to Phoenix and then LA. You got it. Our text community is 949-298-2905. If you need any of the exercises, guides, or my books, it's david@dmeltzer.com. david@dmeltzer.com. Remember, most importantly, be more interested than interesting. Be kind to your future self and do good deeds. Hit it, Gigi.
Welcome to Office Hours, hosted by legendary sports executive, entrepreneur, and investor David Meltzer, where the brightest entrepreneurial minds in business, sports, and entertainment get together to talk about success, failure, and everything in between.
At the end of the day, man, we've got to condition ourselves to make the right choices and give us the power over the external circumstances instead of the external circumstances having power over us.
And once you do that, you start to figure out, hey, I can do this, and maybe I can do this, and then your self-esteem grows.
The truth is, change can be hard, growth can be scary, but nothing is as hard and scary as being stuck somewhere you don't belong.
Take a deep dive into the mind of some of the world's most impactful guests.
Growth doesn't come by talking a lot. Growth comes by listening, by learning, by being curious.
You'll upgrade your knowledge, your skills, your habits, and you'll upgrade your beliefs so that you believe that you can do this.
You will succeed. You just have to believe in yourself and never stop trying.
To share their strategies and tools to dominate their respective fields.
The most important thing is really to work on yourself. It all starts and work on your mind.
And I said, if you can get 1% better every day, by the end of the month, you have 33%. Tell me a business you can earn 33% a month. So it's a great investment.
I'm not attached to my career, my notoriety, my financial success. I'm not attached to it. I have no self-worth tied up in Gary Vee or Gary Vaynerchuk, the entrepreneur. My self-worth is fully and utterly 100% attached to how I treat human beings.
Issue where you save time is that if you really know your why, right, then why are you doing it? Are you doing a career because your parents said that's what success is?
David Meltzer hosts Office Hours.